Good day friends, welcome back to Smart Book Guide. In today's video, we are going to be solving another problem on what? Partial fraction. Now in the previous video, right, or I would say the last video, we explained what partial fraction is, why we need partial fraction, right? And then we solve an example problem. Now the example problem we solved in the last video is based on the fact that the numerator has a degree lower than the denominator, so it is kind of straightforward. Now, but in this case, we can see that the numerator and the denominator is having x², right? Because normally the way it should be is that we have x to the power of 1 and x to the power of 2, or we have something like x to the power of 2 and x to the power of 3. The numerator has to be a degree less than what? The denominator. But as in this case, it is different. So since the numerator and the denominator is same as we stated in the last video, that when we have the numerator and the denominator, the power or the degree is equal, as in this case 2, then we need to what? Apply division to it. So how are we going to divide that? Now we need to do a box like this, and inside the box we put the numerator, which is x² plus what? 3x minus 10, and outside box we put the denominator, which is 2x, right? 2x minus 3. Am I right? So what we need to do is that, how can we simplify this? We know that we are having x², we are having x² in both sides, right? So multiplying it by 1 is going to simplify the expression for us. So 1 times x² is x², right? Then 1 times negative 2x is negative 2x. Likewise, this is going to give us minus 3. So since we have this, what we can do here is to say we subtract. X² goes with x². Now 3 minus 2x becomes 3 plus 2x, right? So it becomes what? Positive 5x. Now we have negative 10 minus 3. So we end up having minus 10 plus 3 is equal to minus 7. So it means that what? We're having a value of 1, right? The expression below, which above, which is x² plus 3x minus 10 divided by x² minus 2x minus 8 minus 3, which is our expression. The expression being given to us is being broken down to this after division as 1 plus whatever is here, right? Which is 5x minus 7. Now we need to divide it by the denominator, which we already know to be x² minus 2x minus 3, because you know that this has a fraction of 1, right? So 1 times this is still going to be the denominator. So this value here, when you multiply it by 1, we have it at the top. By the time you end up adding it up, you arrive at what? X² plus 3x minus 10, which is what? The numerator, right? So it's just a simplified version of the above problem. So based on partial fraction, as we explained in the previous video, based on the concept of partial fraction as we explained in the previous video, what we do here is that we take only the partial fraction. Though we need to keep this constant 1 in mind, but we need to take the other fraction, right, which is solidified, and form the partial fraction out of it, right? So we say that what? 5x minus 7 divided by x² minus 2x minus 3. So we need to break it down and form it in such a way that we're having something like this, right? So that's how we apply partial fraction, right? So to do this, we need to factorize this expression. How are you going to do that? We know the constant value in the front of x² is 1. So 1 times this value is what? 1 times negative 3 is what? Negative 3. So what value are we going to add or multiply? No, what value are we going to multiply is going to give us negative 3. And also, when we add or subtract, it's going to give us negative 2x, right? So here's how we go with it. I know we need the value 3 and 1, right? So I'm going to write 3 and 1 down. Let's see which one is going to take the negative or positive sign. If I say 3 times 1, I'm going to have what? Positive 3. So that one is not going to go for me, right? So let's change it. Let's give minus 3 negative sign. So minus 3 times 1, that's going to give us negative 3. Good. What about, let's add it together. Minus 3 plus 1, is it going to give us negative 2? Yeah, it's going to give us negative 2. So it is correct. But in the case whereby it's not giving us negative 2, we still have to refigure the sign again, just as we did in the previous problem. So what we need to do here now is that, since we have this, all we need to do is substitute into the problem. So we are given 5x minus 7 divided by, now we substitute it to be what? X squared, right? The minus 2x becomes what? Minus 3x. Minus 3x plus x. Minus 3x plus x is going to give us minus 2xt. So we are not changing the problem. Then minus 3. So what we can do here is to what? To demarcate like this. So we say 5x minus 7, right? Divided by, so we can factorize the first part. We have x open bracket x minus 3. And the second one is positive 1, which is x minus 3. Because you can only factorize 1 out of it. So we end up having 5x minus 7 divided by, so we take whatever value is outside here, which is x plus 1, and 1 out of the bracket. Since they are equal, then it is x minus 3. So you see, we are moving forward. So we got this, right? So what we need to do here is that we need to solve for this. Why? We know that 5x minus 7 divided by x, right, plus 1, which we just calculated now, right, is going to become something. In terms of partial fraction, when we have something like this, what we usually do is to say, we are going to have something like a, right? We're going to have something like a now divided by one of that expression, which is this. Then we have b, then one of that expression, which is this. Cool. That's partial fraction. So what are we going to do now? What we need to do is that here is the whole expression. We know they are equal. We are just equating it, right? What we need to do is to multiply everything inside this bracket by this expression here. So we will be able to remove it. So x plus 1 and x minus 3. So we know everything here goes with cancel this, right? So we are left with what? 5x minus 7 equals, the next case here is that we know that a over x squared multiplied by all these here, right? This is going to cancel with this. We'll be left with what? X minus 3 and a, right? So we can do this by saying a times x minus 3. If you look at b very well, x minus 3 is going to go with this. We are left with what? This and this. So what we can do here is that we can say plus b open bracket x plus 1. So therefore, we can simplify the fraction. So we have 5x minus 7 equals to a times x minus 3a plus b times x plus b, because 1 times b is b. So in that case, let's collect like terms. So we say ax plus bx minus 3a plus b. Then we have 5x minus 7. So we can say that what? This expression 5x minus 7 equals a plus b. If we factorize it and make x outside, then we say plus minus 3a plus b, because this one doesn't have x, so they are just constant on their own. So now if you look at this expression very well, the reason why we collect like terms is that we are trying to force it that this right hand side have x component and this one too has x component. So it's kind of forming it in such a way that both of them are quite similar. So what we do here is that we say what? 5x, right, equals a plus b times x. And then we say that negative 7 equals to what? Minus 3a plus b. And as you can see very well, this x goes with this x. So we are left with what? 5 equals to a plus b. And then if we look at the second expression very well, which is this, we can multiply by what? Negative 1 to make it positive. So we end up having 7, positive 7, right, equals to positive 3a minus b, because positive times negative is going to give us negative. So let's name this what? Equation 1. Let's call this one equation 2. So what I want us to do now is to rearrange the equation so that what? We are having a plus b equals to 5 and 3a minus b equals to 7. Now, I want to make a subject formula in this case to know the value of a. So therefore, we are having a equals to 5 minus b. If we take b to the other side, so it becomes what? Negative. So we have to substitute that into the second equation, which is 3 times 5 minus b equals to 7. So 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times minus b is minus 3b. Then minus b equals 7. So we end up having what? Minus 3b minus b is what? 15 minus 4b, right? That equals to 7. So minus 4b equals what? 7 minus 15. If we take 15 to the other side. So we can say that what? Minus 4b equals minus 8. Then divide both sides by negative 4. Therefore, b equals to a value, negative cancel negative. A divided by 4 is 2. Definitely b is having a value of what? 2. Right? So if b is having a value of 2, all we just need to do is to substitute into what? A equal to 5 minus b. So a equals to 5 minus b, right? So a equals to 5 minus 2 equals to 3. Definitely a equals to 3. Right? You can see that a has a value of what? 3. Now, since a has a value of 3, right? Since a has a value of 3, we know that the expression we calculated before is of this is 1 plus 5x minus 7, right? Divided by x squared minus 2x minus 3, right? And this expression here, we said it becomes what? A, right? Over x plus 1 plus b, right? Over x minus 3, right? That's how we calculated it. So we can say now we substitute value of a. So it becomes 1 plus, then this fraction. A is having a value of 3, so we substitute 3 divided by x plus 1. Then b is having a value of 2, so we substitute x minus 3. So you can see that the expression, which is x squared plus 3x minus 10 divided by x squared minus 2x minus 3, which is given to us in the problem, is broken down into 1 plus 3 over x plus 1 plus 2 over x minus 3, which is the what? A partial fraction of what? Of that problem, right? I hope the concept is clear. If there's anything confusing, just let me know in the comment section. I'll be here to respond. Thanks. Goodbye.